Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are watching or listening to this edition of Hypnosis Week. We are on season 3, episode 21, making this episode 125 at hypnosisweek.com or on the Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel, where you can find the video interview version, or on all major podcast platforms where you can get the audio version to listen to whilst you are driving along, although some of them don't listen while you're driving because you could end up asleep at the wheel under hypnosis. As you know, my name by birth is Alex William Smith, better known as Jonathan Royal, the British bad boy of hypnosis, and on each episode I bring on an expert in their particular field to talk about what they're passionate about, and we go into their backstory, how they got to where they are now, what they see themselves doing in the future, and perhaps more importantly for you, the viewer or listener, whether you are male or female, young or old, is how this can help you in your life to live a better life. And this episode in particular, you may have noticed on the preview details on podcast, is about weight loss, but it's bigger than that. It's not just about losing weight, it's about maintaining weight, but it's not just about maintaining weight, it's also about all the other positive offshoots of that, mind, body, and spirit wise, that led to a book being published, which we will come back to later. I'll show it very quickly on screen, but this is what we're going to talk about quite a bit later on. To the side of me, for those who are watching on YouTube, you will see a lady there. For those on the audio, you're about to hear a voice. Please welcome to Hypnosis Week, episode 125, to discuss all things mind, body, spiritual related to weight loss and weight management, and a brand new book, ARCHIE. Please welcome clinical hypnotherapist Paula C. Whitfield. How are you, Paula?
Hi, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm very well, thank you. Very excited to be on your show today.
So let's start right at the beginning. Okay. You were born. Take us from there in the sense of, because obviously I've got a little bit of background because I've kind of helped and consulted on Archie. What led you into the world of hypnotherapy, helping other people, and in turn getting to the point where we are today, where we can go, whoa, you've released Archie on the world. What was
Okay.
your journey?
So my journey, I'm going to start about 15 or so years ago, and then I'm going to backtrack if it's okay.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I grew up in a really loving household with my grandparents and my mum. My mum was what you would call morbidly obese. She had her whole entire life through trauma when she was a child, had piled on weight, and she became agoraphobic. She had lymphedema. She had so many health problems to do with her weight. Largest, she was 32 stone, and she decided, and she had full support from the NHS, that she was going to get a gastric band fitted because it would save her life.
Mhm.
Well, she's no longer with us because that's what killed her. Okay, but it didn't just kill her that day on the operating table. It took 5 years, and she had every terrible, terrible complaint and condition associated with this drastic surgery. That's what killed her. Prior to her dying, she said that she wished I could become a hypnotherapist because I may be able to help people like her, which, as a bratty 30 something only child, I went, what do you know? But she bought me a book, which went on the shelf, and that's where it stayed. Now, so I picked up this book one day and I thought, oh, it's really good. I like this. And then I became addicted, if you want to use that term, of learning all about the mind and how our subconscious mind guides us through life and makes our decisions for us in so many different ways. Anyway, on my path of hypnotherapy, I've always had a lot of clients that are struggling with their weight, and I've helped them lose weight, 3 stone, 5 stone, 6 stone, whatever. And it's always been successful. But then I really had to start looking at myself because I don't know if I'm allowed to mention a shop in town, but I used to wear a lot of Primark leggings. And the thing with
Okay.
Primark leggings is they stretch and they keep going. So Paula, who sat before you, was in my label in my clothing was a size 12, but I didn't realize I'd put on so much weight, and I'm going out seeing clients to help them with weight. And I'd ballooned up to 15 stone because the leggings were just stretching with me. And I had to have a look at what I was doing with my life, because I just didn't realize I was doing anything wrong with regard to eating. And I just thought I knew everything about weight loss. So I had to pick myself apart, really. And I went back to my childhood, and this is where Archie was born. So I can't remember at what age I was, maybe about 5. So, but this is when Archie was given to me from my very, very loving, nurturing family. So Archie was a little man that lived in my tummy, wait for it, that was going to die if I didn't eat all my food. There he is. And that's probably what Archie looked like. And he lived in my tummy. So when I couldn't physically eat any more food, Archie's going to die. My family said, smiling, coaxing, tempting, Archie will die. Archie will die. So, of course, I had to eat. And then because because I'd finished everything on my plate, good girl, you can get some pudding now. Oh, lovely. And then I've having to go through, oh, well, Archie will die. Archie will die. And if it wasn't Archie, it was everyone else was dying somewhere else in the world. So that was given to me as a child, and that stayed with me. And nobody told me that Archie wasn't real. I went to boarding school when I was 12, took Archie with me, and I was managing to get out of the boarding house to go and get marathon bars, or Snickers, what they're called now, because Archie needed them. And Archie was actually desperately needing lots of sort of drinking chocolate raw off the spoon and like powdered form. And it was weird. And it was because I was actually trying to fill something in my life that I'd lost out on because I'd been sent away to boarding school. But I was doing the dutiful daughter thing, and I was feeding Archie. So he was still alive. And then one day, I don't know if it was a couple of years later, so I'm maybe 14 years of age. I asked somebody in my dormitory what her little man's called in her tummy. I don't know if there's any feeling that I've got inside me that can explain what a laughing stock I was from that day. But that's Archie, and that's where I started when I realized Archie was making me eat custard slices because my mother died. I'm not laughing, my mother died, but I was absolute ravenous for custard slice, and it's because of Archie. I didn't realize I'd never got rid of Archie. And so this is what the book's about. How everyone, whatever their Archie's called, whatever the reason, they're compelled to overeat when they feel sad, tired, lonely, all of the above. Um, it's about helping people with their own Archie. So that's that.
I'm going to try something. I've not done this before on a hypnosis week. So I'm just seeing if I can work out how to do it. If I can, great. If not, I will just hold up for the people who are watching on the video podcast. The book, I'm just looking here, captions, docs, notes, whiteboard, stop. I don't know how to do it on here because we are on Zoom recording this interview video wise. I was going to see if I could show pictures on screen because I've got some pictures from the book, but apparently I am that bad with technology that we won't be doing that. What I'll be doing instead, for those people who are on the video version, if you're on the audio version of this podcast, then you're going to need to go to youtube.com/celebrity hypnotist and click on hypnosis. We can find episode 25. I'm just going to remove my background for the minute so you see my slightly messy office, but it just means that it will be possible to briefly show you that within this book, which we'll come to more very shortly, there we go, many different visual representations of Archie. And this is important because, as you will discover, each and every one of you, whether male or female, young or old, will have a different motivation or a different past traumatic experience or a different feeling of something that's missing or out of balance or doesn't feel right. It will be different for all of you. That's why I'm just giving you random words here. And the key thing about this book, Archie, which I'm going to delve into quite a bit more in a few moments, is that throughout this book, you see Archie evolve in the same way that you will also evolve along the way. It'd take me ages to go through them all because there are literally tons of images as we go along. The key is, though, that Archie started off, it sounded, as a negative. The impact was negative,
Yeah,
but it was with positive intent.
absolutely. It was never done
What
with
the
malice.
the vibe I get from this book, it's certainly right near the beginning, is this is about taming the monster, making the
Mhm.
monster your friend. Um, what does that actually sort of stand for? I mean, it says on the back of the book here, but
Oh,
but
sorry, are you asking me now?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. So Archie is Archie. It had to be an acronym. It had to be because that made him more likable in a way.
Hmm.
So Archie, the A st stands for ask. So this is when you're okay, you're tired, you're stressed, the fridge is there. You only went for a glass of water, but the fridge is there, like doom fridge, trying to lurk, it's lurking there. So what Archie is in those terms, when you're just tired, upset, lonely, blah blah blah. So it's ask yourself first. So instead of going to get the multi-pack of Kit Kat out of the snack bag, ask yourself, am I actually hungry? Really? Am I actually ask sort of that jogs your mind into thinking. It's like a pattern interrupt. They are remember your reasons. Okay, so what is the reason? So that could mean two things. That could be remember the reasons you're going for food in the first place, or remember the reasons you've got to a point where you want to lose weight. So remember the reasons. Um, the C is the good one, cravings. Now, cravings don't last long, really, but they do seem to be like bringing out the inner manic inside people because when they crave something sweet. I was in a shop earlier, somebody was craving a pasty. Um, and so the cravings are temporary. So there you are. So then the H, hydrate instead. And this is what a lot of people I hear, on the playground and things like that, people saying to their children, I don't think you're hungry. I think you're probably thirsty. So
Yeah.
hydrate instead. Sometimes you might be hungry, but have a drink of water and just see how it goes. So the I is, I like this one. It's very visual for me. Imagine the outcome. So imagine if you eat that. For me, my drug of choice was custard slices. Imagine if you eat 10, which I used to. Uh, what, imagine it. What will it be like? I think the term, this little phrase I use is, how will you ever be full when you're empty inside? You're running on empty. Like if you're running on empty, if you're overtired, you're stressed, blah, 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 it doesn't matter what you're putting in your mouth. You'll never be happy. You're never going to be happy. So, but imagine the outcome. And I also visualize, if I don't eat this custard slice and I want to be a size 12 or 14 or get down to a size 18 or whatever it looks like to you, imagine what you'll look like if you don't eat that. And then E is like, I feel like we should have beeping, like a reversing lorry, exit or engage. Remove yourself from the fridge and sort of exit. Stop going for the Kit Kat, stop going for the whatever. Um, or if you actually are genuinely hungry at that point, there's other options that you can eat. So engage or exit. And that's your Archie. But it means lots of different things, as you'll see throughout the book.
It does, yeah, a heck of a lot of different things. Now,
A lot.
I this book is 254 pages, but it's easy to read text. However, it's not massive text, so this is not like padding. This is other people will turn this into a 500-600 page book just so it look big. This is done so that you're getting value for money as the reader. And if I can just open, because I was going to do this on screen, but my lack of technology skills, I'm going to have to
Oh,
just, I'll just get rid of my background for the video people again. Um, because then you don't need to be able to read it just as well because I'm not positioning it right. But you get the idea that each of these lines in here, this is the index. That's just two of the pages. And then another
yeah.
2 page. There are so many different areas covered because each of you, whether male, female, young or old, will have had different experiences in life, will be coming from a different perspective, or maybe you've gone through a different trauma, or maybe it's something different that you feel's missing from life, or you're not even consciously aware of what it is yet, or things on the peripheries, things that people often don't talk about. So I'm not going to go through all these because there's so many different things, but I promise you, whatever's relevant to you will be covered in this book. Whether you are a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, because there are different challenges living in that world and that environment. Whether you are an older man or a younger man or a teenager or a child. The same with women, old, young, teenage, child. This is probably the most comprehensive in terms of having. I would liken it to that. This has got the instruction manual for people to lose weight and maintain it, but then as well as the rules that everyone needs to follow, it's got the specific bits that it's relevant to them. In your words, what you know what I'm getting at here, because obviously you wrote the book. I've just read it, and that's my way of explaining it. What would you say to potential readers about why this differs in a positive manner from the myriad of other self-help weight management guides on the market?
Well, the best bit, I think, not the best bit, one of the best bits, because of course there's tons, is
Mhm.
I'm not mentioning fat or calories or weighing food. I'm not telling people to get on the scales. I'm not telling them to do anything. I'm just saying, actually, I wonder if when you were little, somebody told you something and you were going to have to sit there and eat your food until the next day, with these empty threats. Or were you told as a child that because you were poorly, you're a good girl or you're a good boy and you're not well and you can have a cake or a biscuit? What do you fancy? What do you fancy? That's what a lot of people say. Or this thing where I've worked with hundreds and hundreds personally, adults that will say, "Oh, I've been so naughty. I've had a biscuit." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, got you awful. What, one? Well, how many packets?" So that's why this is better, because it's not saying if you weigh out a little bit of food and then think about lettuce all day, you're going to be absolutely bloody miserable. Oh no, it doesn't say that, does it? It says it'll change your life eating lettuce. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't care what they eat there, forward on. Yeah, there's loads of recipes in here. I don't actually care where they are with that just yet, because how can they possibly lose weight, keep weight off, is if they've got all this, well, you're a naughty girl, you can't have sweets. Oh, I'm going to have loads then because I've been good. And this is how, nothing, I don't think any of it's been done with malice from anyone's family when they're growing up.
Mm.
But it's this reward and punishment. And I don't think I've ever read a book that covers that.
It's not just childhood, though, is it? Because in some of the later chapters where it goes specific. So we've got
Yeah.
Archie here for clients in recovery from addiction, replacing the reward, for example, right? And their
Yeah.
Archie stands for acknowledge urges, replace the reward, choose nourishment, heal emotional needs, instill structure, embody sobriety strength. Or we randomly, I'll stop at another page here. Archie for teen girls. Archie then is an acronym for accept, reset, confidence, hope, imagine, empower. The stuff here to do with traumatic incidents or things people may not have realized had a negative effect upon
Mm.
them that may have happened not in childhood but in teenage years
Yeah,
or later as adults as well. So it isn't
absolutely.
always childhood, is it?
No, not always. Um, so a lot of it could be a flippant remark. Somebody like, oh, you look like you're ill. What have you done? And it might be that they've maybe put on a bit of weight, or maybe they're having a little bit of a medical problem. And just one flippant remark may sort of rewire the pattern of their eating, like for the future. Or it
Mhm.
might be that, and this is awful, maybe an abusive relationship where either the husband or the wife, the girlfriend or the boyfriend have said, you look disgusting like that, you're fat. And I don't like using that word at all, but and that, they might be a 30-year-old woman, a 42, a 52-year-old woman. They might be whatever age, a 60-year-old man. They've been belittled and they've been told absolutely without a doubt, you're disgusting. And that's where it could happen. It's almost like it stops the brain from knowing what's right and wrong when it comes to they're putting in their mouth. And it's like, oh well, I've been told I look disgusting, so I must be disgusting. Oh, let's remember what we do when we feel disgusting. Oh yeah, we fill it, we comfort eat. And food is not a comfort, is it? It's just food.
Mhm.
And it's really sad. But if I can I go back just a second,
Of
because
course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you talked about the alcohol recovery. What I've done, Alex, is because I've written in like a bit about each of those client groups, I've elaborated on each. So I've started picking apart each and every chapter of that book to help specific client groups in more detail if the need arose. So this one's alcohol recovery, for instance, and I've got one for like children. That have experienced trauma and stuff like that. So I'm just doing that as
Which
well. So
obviously
it's
you'll work with clients with
lots.
them, but also you will, I
Yeah,
believe, in the future be kind of sharing these with other hypnotherapists so they can use these techniques
absolutely.
with their clients.
Well, this is my Archie that I found in a charity shop, who's so cute. But this little boy here is going to be my brand, you see. So that's what I want. I want to have affiliates. I want everyone sharing the love of Archie because he terrified me as a child. And I've had emails actually from a few, not many so far, but a few people that there was one the other day. Her Archie was called Billy, and she wasn't allowed to pick up her knife and fork until she thought Billy was with her. So it is, and it's about getting people talking, and so they think they're not actually gone mad when they think they've either got an invisible man in their tummy or this, that, or the other. So yeah,
From a therapeutic point of view, I'm sure that well, some people who've read self-help books will be aware of this, but otherwise, therapists that are listening or watching it
yeah,
um, will hopefully have realised that Archie can also be used or perceived or related to in a similar manner as doing inner child therapy.
absolutely.
Archie can be a metaphor for the inner child as well.
Of course it can. And it can actually, and I think I can see a place for that in sort of family therapy. Because we hear a lot about children that have experienced trauma doing play therapy. Well, what better that we have something like an Archie who doesn't have to be a bad Archie. He could be a really good Archie, a friendly Archie, almost like a little cartoon strip Archie saying, "Hey, look what I can do. Can you do that?" And I just see that there's so much potential for it. I just see it. My vision.
Mm. Well, there is, and we'll explore that a bit more later. But let's just briefly go back to weight loss, because I've always said in my seminars for years that the best book on the market, well, we'll come to that in a minute, but probably the most successful weight loss book in terms of sales in recent years, past couple of decades, and more successful in terms of actually helping people lose weight, has been arguably Paul McKenna's
Yeah.
I Can Make You Thin.
Right.
However, as I've always pointed out, because there's a few key bits about this, but as I've always pointed out, the key bits about this book is essentially to eat whatever you want whenever you want. So don't deprive yourself, but eat it consciously. So you're not watching TV, you're not
Yeah.
distracted, you chew it 15, 20, 25 times before you swallow
Yeah.
it. So you retrain your body to recognize the feeling of satiety, or in other words, when you feel satisfied, not
Mm.
overly full, not bloated, but satisfied. And then you stop. And if you feel hungry later on, before you immediately go grabbing food, maybe have a bit of water, because quite often thirst gets mixed up with hunger.
Yeah.
Leave it 5 or 10 minutes. And if you still feel hungry, then eat what you want. But put your knife and fork down in between each mouthful, or put the bag of crisps down where you chew on.
Absolutely.
Eat consciously, chew it 15 to 25 times, stop when you feel satisfied.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the only ways to lose weight are to burn off more calories than you're currently taking in,
Hmm.
or to take in less calories than you currently are, or
Yeah.
ideally, do more exercise to burn off more and reduce the calories. That's the only way to lose weight, and to maintain it then you've got to have your balance. But people think this was Paul McKenna's idea, and bizarrely, certainly in this version of the book, and I've mentioned this before on seminars, but maybe there's a version of this book out there where he does credit where the idea came from, but it's not McKenna's. No, as I've said in seminars, this was first published properly in a book called
Yeah.
Diets Don't Work by Bob
Squats.
Squartz.
Yeah.
And the key to this is, well, the key to it, this book, you could read all of that. And to date, up till now, I would have said this was the best book ever written on how to lose weight and maintain weight. But the truth is, the core essence of this book, and if you're listening to this, you need to go on the Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel in order to see visually what I'm saying, is summed up in the Archie book from, because I didn't want to bend the pages down. I, I'm now trying to find it again. Maybe I should look at the index. That
Oh
would be
yeah, there's a
easier,
good
wouldn't it?
index in there.
A very, very good index. Um, There we go, page 58. There you go. Hang on a minute. It's not even at the beginning of the book. No, it's not, because there's other stuff in there
No.
that isn't in Diets Don't Work. But page 58, page
Oh yeah.
59,
Hmm.
page 60, and page 61, 4 pages. But these are the secrets of naturally thin people. This will
Hmm.
teach you anything of worth that you would find in McKenna's I Can Make You Thin. It will teach you anything of worth you would find in Diets Don't Work, but with credit to the fact. And it is the key. Don't eat unless you're truly hungry. So water can sometimes, it's thirst, not hunger. Eat exactly what you want, when you want, but do it consciously. Chewing, putting the knife and fork down, all that stuff we've already said. Eat mindfully, enjoy every bite, become aware of retraining your body so you recognize that feeling of satiety, and stop when you're no longer hungry. And doing that, even without any additional exercise, will retrain your body to the point where you are taking in less calories, thus, you will lose weight. But add to that some exercise.
Amazing.
Obviously, there's other things to it than that, because that 4 pages of the book is worth getting Archie for in any event, because it saves you buying these. But then you've got all the rest of the book as well, because it goes beyond that. Because some people can reduce their food intake and increase their exercise and still apparently have problem losing weight or maintaining it because they've got some trauma
Yeah,
stored in their body or something. Would you like to,
right.
yeah, tell viewers and listeners a bit about how that can affect people?
The trauma, you see, it's like the good cop, bad cop, or something or other. Whoever sits on your shoulder, the conscious, the subconscious mind, whatever it is for you. So it's like with all the best intention in the world, I want to be like this, but actually I'm really, really sad. I'm absolutely got terror. I don't know where I come from. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's happened, why I was why nobody loved me as a child, not me. This is just a hypothetical. And that trauma will lead, and this is actually pretty synonymous of what happened with my mum. She had something hideous happen to her when she was 8. That was her trauma. And she's no longer here, but she had a horrible, horrible, horrible life. And it was all food related. So her trauma couldn't get her past. And if she had to keep feeding, but her trauma in her mind was nobody will ever do something so bad to me again if I become so unappealing to look at. And that was how her trauma governed how she ate for the rest of her life. Because I didn't know it. I wasn't a
Mhm.
hypnotherapist. I didn't understand. She didn't really tell me in enough detail till maybe it was too late for help. But she had to see psychiatric people and they say, oh, no wonder you're so fat for what you've been through. But that's not, it's a reason, but it's not an excuse, if that makes sense.
Of
You
course.
know, the trauma is the reason, but we don't need to make that as a lifelong excuse. It's something we can understand and help somebody with rather than saying, oh, well, that's you finished for the rest of your life then. That happened to you when you were little, so never mind. It's so that's my own experience of trauma, but I've worked with trauma clients and everyone's got a different story. And everyone's got a
And also,
different
it doesn't
reason.
trauma sounds scary. I mean, it can be, but
Yeah,
there's ways to help deal with that in Archie. But also, it can just be a case of state of mind. I mean, there's a reason why,
yeah,
as you can see on the bottom of the book, the website is lose weight, be happy.
yeah.
.com and .co.uk, because that can be both ways, can't it? When you've lost weight, you can become happier,
Absolutely.
but in order to effectively lose weight and maintain such, you need to be happy and content within yourself as well. So,
Yeah,
I mean, the book goes into those kind of things, doesn't it? Emotional balance and what like.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, now, so you follow me. Very gratefully, I am to you. You follow me on all my social media, and I think I put something on the other day about this wizardy miracle jab that everyone's getting a pat on the back saying, "Well done." This is the
Weight
thing.
loss
They're losing.
jabs.
Hey, yeah, you've got your prompt. I couldn't find mine.
What,
Um,
what, what? Yeah, weight loss jabs.
Yeah,
No,
so
no.
lose weight, definitely with them. Well done for spending £250. Aren't you amazing spending £250? And you have to stay on it forever. But the people that are on that are all being sick, feeling poorly, and oh, that is really good. Um,
It's a prop. For the people watching the video,
yes,
this is
of
the prop.
course, yeah. I got the pen ones, the little pens with the coloured ink.
I've got them in the
Yeah,
drawer as
but
well, yes.
you need the props. But yeah. So lose weight, but and be happy. So people that are on these miracle drugs right now, are they happy? Are they? Because they are they're putting an injection in them. There's hideous side effects. People are dying all the time. People are very unwell, pancreatitis, and all sorts of terrible things can happen to them. Are they happy? Not really, because
And
they
of
can
course, the
never come
moment you
off it.
stop, exactly, the moment they
You
stop,
can't. That's it.
jabbing and taking the stuff, the weight comes back.
Up again.
And you've not
I
dealt with the psychological reasons that caused you to be in that position in the
absolutely.
first place.
I was reading because I'm not just oh, let me write a book and that'll be lovely. I do a lot of research, an awful lot of research. And going back to sort of, I think it would have been the sort of 70s and the 80s, where people had their jaws wired. That was a thing for weight
Yeah.
loss. So they had to have like a Hannibal Lecter thing sewn together so they could only get like melted Mars bars in instead of whole ones. But no, that's being cynical. It literally, they stopped
Unfortunately,
using it.
unfortunately true in a lot of cases, though, I imagine.
Sorry for being cynical,
Yeah.
but
No,
yes.
but it's true.
So,
Yeah.
but they had their jaws wired, but it phased out because, and here's the scientific fact, when they had their jaws unwired, they put on weight. Of course they did. They were ravenous. They were literally ravenous. They have fantasized about every morsel of food while they couldn't get at it.
Yeah.
They were literally a walking terrifying mask. And but this was practice. People could opt for that to save their life. And it's like the miracle jabs. It's like all of it, Oh wow, look at this. You've lost 5 stone, 6 stone, 10 stone. Oh, and then you see them 6 months later, and it's like, oh yeah, I've put on 12 stone. Oh, look, aren't you proud of yourself for spending 3,000, 6,000, 7,000 pound on jabs? Gosh. And it's the same people that, they are, because it's a thing, Sharon Osbourne, a lot of the celebrities, they've gone from looking like normal celebrities to very, very, very thin
But it happens
celebrities.
really rapid, so you're going to end up
It's
with the
so rapid.
obligatory excess
Yeah,
skin. You're going to need
absolutely.
operations to deal with that because it's happened too rapidly.
Absolutely. But because it's in the thing, I think Katie Price is on it, and whoever your person is that you look up to as a celebrity, and people do follow celebrities like that. It's like, wow, she looks amazing. Wow. And they get on board for it because
But the
that's
sad
what
thing
they're
is
doing.
that they're just seeing them on social media where they're airbrushed as
Absolutely.
well.
Oh
It's not
no,
reality. The grass is not always greener. You can make your
no.
own grass greener by watering it. The garden of your mind with positive
By
affirmations,
by
positive
watering it. I like
self-hypnosis,
it. Yeah.
and and that's full of stuff like that. It teaches you self-hypnosis within
Yeah.
Archie. For hypnotherapists, the scripts in here they can use with clients, but also the self-hypnosis approaches.
Yeah.
It's here. Water the garden of your mind.
I love
Um,
that. Why have I not used
you
that
know,
before? I love that. I'm
I
using it
don't know.
now.
It's just one of those. That's fine. It's okay. You can use what you like because you very kindly credit me in here. And there is a.
Absolutely.
I don't want to scare people off, but there is actually a picture of me that makes me look better than I do on this video.
Well, I will tell your listeners that actually you gave me free reign of which photograph that I could use of yours, and that was a very lovely one, I must say. So that's
Thank
the one.
you.
Whatever. Do you know which page you're on? There's an
I,
index.
there we go. Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting that, but yeah.
There he is, looking very authoritarian. Look, mystical and
I have
authoritarian.
shared my cured complete unconscious reprogramming of
Yeah,
emotional disease and distress technique for communicating with your unconscious mind, subconscious
brilliant.
mind, call it what you will, or in this case, it is effectively communicating with your inner Archie. And then Paula's put her spin on it. And therapist alone, that tool can be a game changer for you.
Yeah,
People yourself in your everyday life, it's a game changer. If you've ever said to yourself, oh, just sort yourself out and you're on there.
absolutely. We all
Well,
do.
but nothing happens because you're consciously saying it, and it's your personal neck-top computer that needs reprogramming.
It's like when you
And
tickle yourself, don't work.
exactly.
Exactly the same process.
So yeah, jabs, they don't work. You've got
No.
to keep taking them. When you stop
Yes.
taking the flipping jab, when you stop injecting yourself with that chemical that could cause side effects, including death, then you end up putting the weight back on. There
Right.
are magic pills and potions out there. Now, I do give my therapy clients either these or these, but
Yeah.
they are, as it says on the tin, placebo pills you can buy on.
Yeah.
They're placebo pills. But even when you know that this is a placebo and has no chemicals in it whatsoever, taking one in the morning and one at night, when you have been told by your hypnotherapist, take one of these placebos in the morning when you get up and one at night, and you will naturally find that you feel satisfied sooner. So you just eat a healthy, safe level, acts as a massive suggestion and a placebo. It does what it says on the tin.
Hmm.
And even when you know it's just a placebo, it still works and helps, because anything
Absolutely.
target your mind towards positively doing something in the right direction helps you on your journey.
Definitely. And that's why Archie works, because we're positively asking, we're positively remembering our reasons. We are absolutely, it will come with, I'm sure it will come like it did for us. Um, so that you don't have to say, oh, what's the A stand for? What's the R stand for? It's a bit like what I use in therapy. I do something called a 5 4 3 2 1 process. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Sorry, that'll stop now.
I can't hear them.
Right. Oh, shouldn't have mentioned it then. Sorry. So I do a 5 4 3 2 1 process, and it's all about jogging yourself into stopping for a moment. So you take a breath, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things that you hate, 2 things that you love, and 1 thing you wish you were doing now. I use that a lot with children, and using that in conjunction with Archie for children as well. It's like, oh, and it will stop them from screaming, it will stop them from throwing things, it will stop them from smashing things. It's just that pattern interrupt, whether it's an Archie, a 5 4 3 2 1, or a placebo pill. It's out there, isn't it? It's just to get you to stop for in the moment and just pause and think, what am I doing? What am I actually doing? And I think the beauty is
And
with
there
that.
is, but and there's tons, because it makes it specific. Rather, I think one of the issues with one of the good things about things like weight loss groups is the sense of belonging that it can
Yes.
give to people. But I also find that to be one of the negatives as well, because then you're
Hmm.
identifying as someone who's having a struggle with losing weight.
Absolutely.
Whereas when you befriend your monster and it becomes a friend and an ally to you, you can feel that you belong within your own body
Hmm.
and become self sufficient and ultimately continue to lose weight in a safe, controlled manner because you're feeling happier in the process of doing that. Hence, plug again, loseweightbehappy.com and
Yeah.
loseweightbehappy.co.uk is where you can contact Paula. But because you've got so many different sections in here, whatever age a person is, whatever sex, whatever sexuality, whatever state of mind, because even if they're neurodivergent in some manner, there's sections that deal with those things. Um, that is why I would say, until I am shown another book, and I'm not saying this because I'm credited as being a hypnotic consultant and because my picture's in there. I'm saying it genuinely because the stuff of worth in this book, which ultimately was modelled, as they say in NLP, or in layman's terms, copied off the good bits in Diets Don't Work. All of that of worth is in those pages we mentioned before. But given that's fitted into 4 pages, that means you've got all 200 and 200. I'm trying to do the maths here. That means you've got another 251 pages in here, none of which is padding. Now, some of it may not be relevant to you individually right now when you get the book.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
example, if you are a male purchasing
Mm.
this book, it is unlikely that the couple of pages about older females
Yeah.
losing weight will be relevant to you. That said, it won't be completely irrelevant to you because some of the what's the word, affirmations and self-hypnosis phraseology that's taught in all of the sections, although it's most powerful, the section for older women is for older women, the section for older men, the section for teenagers, and so on. There are still elements that you could look at and resonate and go, actually, that resonates with me because we've all got our inner child within us. So my advice is when you get this book from Amazon or other major booksellers are available, is to read it from front to back. Read it all, even if you're thinking, why am I reading the bit here about, people who have perhaps got a drug addiction who want to lose weight. You may never have touched a drug in your life, but even if one sentence in those two specific pages resonates with you, that might be the difference that helps you make the difference you didn't realize that you could do so easily. So I'm saying at the moment, this used to be the book I said people go and get. Diets Don't Work, Bob Squats. I'm now saying go and get a copy of Archie by Paula C. Whitfield because it goes beyond Diets
Thank you
Don't
so
Work.
much.
And
Thank you. That makes me so happy.
It's 17.99, United
Yep.
Kingdom sterling. Which heck, you can't get a half decent takeaway for one person for that price these days. And
You
this can give
can't.
you a lifetime of getting your weight where you want it to be, but bigger than that, feeling comfortable in your own body and being happy. Hence, lose weight, be happy.co.uk and .com. So yeah, I mean that's my view on the book. For viewers and listeners, give them 3 reasons why. Yes, this is blatant,
Oh, I'm on the
shameless
spot.
plugging. Why they should get this book. Whether they are 3 reasons for members of the public, whether they're male, female, young or old, and then
Right.
a couple of reasons why hypnotherapists would benefit from getting this book as well for helping their clients. Go.
Right.
Shameless plug time.
Right. So I believe that you, members of the public, should go and buy Archie is because not only will it unpick your own negative food relationship and let you start embracing food and treating it as food and not as any other crutch that you needed in your life. Also, I hope that the next generation and the next generation and the next generation of children that we're feeding don't have to sit there because someone's going to die if they don't eat it. And I don't want people to think they're so naughty that they cannot give themselves a biscuit. So that might have been 1 or 2. The third
Right.
reason is because if I'd known what I know now, what I've known maybe over the last decade or so, my mum might still be here. Okay. Not trying to get deep and dark and sorrowful, but if there was something like this that I could have shown my mum, written, done something, it might have saved my mum's life. Instead, my mother used to carry this around, diet or die. And
Yeah.
that's what she had as her go-to book.
And that's the trouble with diets, Law. It's got the clue there, the first 3 letters, DIE,
Yeah,
die. It's
yeah,
negative, it's negative. Diets don't
they
work.
don't. But that's my reasons. If this book could save someone's life, not I mean they not necessarily they're going to die, but if they can be happier on their journey through life, then I've achieved something. And for other hypnotherapists, obviously, you're going to want to buy this book because there's stuff in here that you haven't seen yet and you might not know. And I know it and you don't yet. And I would be so proud to share what I've come up with fellow hypnotherapists and hopefully it'll make you better in your own practice. So
And it's immense
yeah,
value for money.
it is immense
So,
value for money.
go.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's vanishing because of the
And it's
magic of,
magic. You can't see it the whole time.
but now you can. Yeah, Archie, Paula C. Whitfield on Amazon and all major bookstores. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for what was episode 125,
My
namely
pleasure.
season 3, episode 21 of Hypnosis Week. If you want to connect with Paula, go to loseweightbehappy.co.uk, or you'll find her on Facebook, Paula C. Whitfield. And again, there's Paula C. Whitfield on Twitter and the major social media platforms. Thank you very much indeed, Paula. It has been
Thank you for
a
having
pleasure.
me. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so, so much. Bye-bye.
We'll see you on the next edition of Hypnosis Week.